Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A ferry worker is being labelled a hero and praised for her quick thinking, diving into chilly waters to rescue an elderly couple from their sinking car. The pair waiting for the Bruny Island ferry when their car plunged off the dock.
Visible just beneath the surface at Roberts Point, the resting place of a Mitsubishi SUV. It had been driving from the ramp onto the Bruny Island ferry before 10 a.m. this morning when a gap opened. The car dangling off the edge momentarily before dropping into the water below.
Insane.
How did that happen?
Yes, I just don't know how it could be done.
The two people inside are safe and well tonight thanks to the quick actions of a female Sea-Link employee.
One of the females jumped into the water. She used an instrument and broke the glass and brought the male out of the vehicle, and then she went back and assisted the female out of the vehicle.
A nearby salmon boat also pitching in with a crane and divers to help secure the sunken vehicle, while the couple, Tasmanians from the northeast, who'd been on the island to celebrate their 57th wedding anniversary, were tended to by locals.
The couple went to the local shop, they were given warm clothes, they were given food, and that really assisted in the recovery process.
With just one ferry operating for most of today, there were long waits for those trying to cross as police and WorkSafe investigate just how the car ended up in the water.
WorkSafe Tasmania has not allowed the use of that ramp until further notice, and obviously the investigation will determine the causation.
The couple taken to hospital as a precaution, both believed to be in good spirits.
Extremely traumatic for them and the people that witnessed it, and we're just very grateful that it ended on a positive note rather than a very traumatic note.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The futures of hundreds of workers at Hobart Private Hospital are up in the air tonight. With the facilities operator entering receivership, pressure is growing on the government to intervene. Union leaders say the Healthscope collapse could trigger a crisis in Tasmania's health system.
In a critical condition for months, private hospital operator Healthscope now financially flatlining, leaving thousands of staff at 38 hospitals around the country with uncertain futures, including around 400 workers at the Hobart Private.
The fate of the Hobart Private Hospital is unknown.
And heightening fears of the broader impact on Tasmania's health system.
It will just mean further gridlock at the Royal Hobart Hospital.
Imagine losing more than 100 beds like that. The system will collapse and people will die.
Healthscope's lenders voting to send the company into receivership, hoping to claw back the $1.6 billion they're owed. Unions taking aim at the company over lack of communication with its employees.
Our members are particularly concerned that they are hearing about this in the media.
Well, they should have been talking to their staff if there was an issue. They haven't done so.
Healthscope's Tasmanian operations have been on life support since the closure of the St Helens Private Hospital in 2023. And financial health concerns were raised earlier this year following the announcement it would discontinue maternity services at Hobart Private in August.
Our health system is already struggling and we could not afford to lose the capacity of over 100 beds.
Pressure now growing for state and federal intervention.
We would love to see the state government jump in and purchase those beds.
It's about time the government started governing in the best interests of Tasmanians.
We're working closely with the company and the federal government to make sure that these services can continue.
Healthscope insists all of its hospitals will continue to operate and that there are no plans for closures or redundancies. But concerns remain about what this development means for the viability of private health providers in Tasmania.
It should not have come to this.
Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
The Scots will be able to enjoy the sight of our Spirit of Tasmania a little longer. Spirit 4 was due to depart its temporary home in Leith tomorrow our time, but that's been delayed due to weather. The ship is expected to arrive in Hobart by the end of July for final fit-out, but there's still no decision on where it will dock until the new berth at Devonport is ready late next year. Legislation designed to protect Tasmanian children and inspired by the parents of Daniel Morcombe will be debated when Parliament returns this week. Daniel's law will give parents and carers the right to check with police if someone with regular unsupervised access to their child is a registered sex offender. It also allows authorities to publicly name offenders who breach their reporting conditions.
We get up each day and we say to Daniel, we're going to keep kids safe right across the country.
It's important that we get the balance right, but providing the targeted and timely information to protect children is absolutely the priority.
Debate on the bill comes after the recent 20th anniversary of the Daniel Morcombe Foundation, set up by Bruce and Denise Morcombe to honour their son who was abducted and murdered more than 20 years ago. The charity raises awareness about child abuse. A corrections officer has told an inquest into the death of an escaped prisoner security was lacking when he absconded from the Royal Hobart Hospital. Nicholas Aaron Scott was being treated after telling prison staff he'd swallowed razor blades. He ran off, sparking a manhunt in January 2023. Mr Scott was then fatally shot by another man at Granton. The officer on guard at the hospital was on probation at the time and says Mr Scott was not handcuffed or supervised when using the bathroom. The inquest continues tomorrow. Casey Hiskett remains ahead of Liberal Stephen Parry by 529 votes, while weeks after the federal election, Independent Jackie Lambie and Liberal Richard Colbeck continue a nervous wait over their Senate seats, with results expected to be finalised later this week. As Tasmania's 4 major industrials face an uncertain future, the opposition wants their electricity transmission costs paused in a bid to help them keep afloat. It's a policy welcomed by business groups, but the government says those costs could be shifted onto households.
With Liberty Bell Bay just weeks away from temporarily powering down and Nearstar also scaling back production, the outlook for the state's major industrial companies appears grim, and the rising transmission costs are adding to their financial burn.
It's not only about supply of ore, it's not only about the global issues, there are local issues with the cost of power.
Labor is proposing a policy that would pause the price increases this financial year, which is set to go up nearly 25% in nominal terms since July last year to mid-2026, or 17% adjusted for inflation.
The Tasmanian government needs to take every step possible to protect these workers, these industries that have been supporting Tasmania's economy for decades.
The Minerals Manufacturing and Energy Council is backing the move, saying major industrials will otherwise be up for millions of dollars.
The call to put a pause on that increase is timely and really critical.
But the government maintains transmission costs only make up a small amount of their overall expenses.
The proposal from Labor wouldn't even touch the sides,
claiming costs could be shifted on elsewhere instead.
It's either higher electricity bills for everyday Tasmanian households or it's higher taxes.
We have to make sure that we have enough money to have a safe, reliable system. We have to balance the big industry versus mums and dads and their wallets and well-being.
But others say it could be possible without jacking up anyone's power bills.
Tas Networks is big and hairy enough to be able to support these businesses through stopping this massive power price increase.
Pause on that income for this year, the increased income, and then reassess whether they've got the ability to recoup that.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The redeveloped Sorell School is getting the tick of approval from students who've had a few months now to settle into their brand new campus. They put learning on pause this morning for the official opening of the $27 million revamp, which now offers kindergarten to Year 12 all in one place. The expansion will cater to growing enrolments in one of Tasmania's fastest growing communities. The Tassie Devils are continuing to break records before they've even put a team on the field, reaching 210,000 founding members in less than 15 months. The club's supporter base spans the globe, with over half its members living outside Tasmania. Kids and teenagers make up a large share, 20% are under 19, nearly 40% are female.
Last year the record for membership was 110,000 for Collingwood, and that scales down, right down to those expansion clubs, 25, 35,000 members. So we're in a really strong position to be quite a force within the AFL.
Devils boss Brendan Gale says the strong youth engagement is a positive sign for the club's future. Residents are 2 months away from moving into 65 new affordable rental units at Hobart's Queen's Walk. The newest addition is designed to add vibrancy to the precinct, but importantly will keep a roof over more people's heads.
Queen's Walk also didn't have the greatest reputation back in the day, and it's been important for us to turn that around because this is a desirable location. These are great homes, and we want to ensure that it's a place for community.
And very close to the city, near amenities, transport and opportunity, and it's running 3 months ahead of schedule.
It's contributing to the state's target of 10,000 affordable and social houses by 2032. The state's premier school footy competition is ready to launch for another year, with a surge in participation among girls. The competition being described as a potential pathway for some players into the AFL.
The Northern High School Sports Association's AFL winter competition is back and the roster is chock-a-block. Officials couldn't be happier.
Footy in schools is really important. There's around about 700 participants that are going to play games every Wednesday and Thursday in the Northern High Schools. 33 teams in total competing in both the male and female rosters in the state's largest school sport competition. 10 of those teams are girls, the Cressy senior team pulling on the boots again after last year's absence.
All our regional schools coming in particular have been a focus, and the amount of girls teams in as well.
Schools will compete in terms 2 and 3, with the best of the senior girls and boys going on to September's Tassie Hawks Cup.
We've got quite a few big comps throughout Tasmania. This is our biggest high school run competition throughout the state.
There's also Devils branding through schools programs to deliver an aspirational component, along with AFL Tasmania's talent team attending games, keeping an eye on potential stars of the future.
I was in the Devils Academy last year and like to get back in there and, give it a red hot crack.
Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmania News.
He's a towering talent from Hobart, whose journey has taken him from grassroots rugby to the pinnacle of the European stage. Adam Coleman has made history as the first Tasmanian to win a European Championship Cup, even crossing for a try in the 20th minute. From playing alongside Adam Coleman in the under-18s, Frosty knew the 7-foot lock was destined for greatness.
Already at that young age, he had the eyes of the state looking at him and selectors looking at him, and for him it was just playing the game he loved.
Growing up in Hobart, then playing for Glenorchy and later the Harlequins, Coleman's rugby roots run deep.
You look at his heritage, rugby's been in his bloodline from such a young age with his father, uncles, cousins, it runs in his DNA.
His career taking him to Bordeaux, where his team faced Northampton in the European Championship Cup in Cardiff. Thanks to a brilliant setup from a teammate, Coleman found himself in the right place at the right time, crossing for a 20th minute try. Bordeaux would go on to seal an 8-point victory.
That is it! Bordeaux Begler have done it!
And with it, a place in the history books, making Coleman the first Tasmanian to win it.
Champions Cup winners for the first time, and probably not the last.
For me, it's just proof that there is a pathway, there is a representative pathway from Tasmania. So if you want to reach the highest levels, it's possible.
Adam, how good does it feel?
Oh, mate, honestly, words can't describe it. It's just... it's unreal, mate. It's a really good feeling.
Back home, there's growing hope Coleman's journey might soon bring him full circle.
The Home World Cup coming up in 2027, it'd be good to see him back on home soil playing rugby.
The Northwest women's side have earned bragging rights over the men after they beat the NTFA by 24 points on the weekend.
We were a lot cleaner than North, and we could hit the scoreboard when needed.
It was a different story for the men's team. This time it was the NTFA who came out on top to win by 23, with Zach Morris kicking 3 out of his 4 goals in the final term.
So try something different. Smithy asked me during the week if I'd like to make the change. Been playing down back for most of the year.
They'll face the SFL on June 7.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston saw 17 today. It was 18 for both Devonport and Burnie. 20 on Flinders Island, King Island, Smithton, St Helens and Friendly Beaches all 18. 17 at Lowhead, Grove and Strawn. Ooze 13 and 8 degrees in Lyoweny. A thick low to mid-level cloud band passed to the west of the state today. An impressively large mid to high-level cloud band sits over northern WA, extending across the country further into New South Wales. Tomorrow, a high shifts over southern WA as the trough extends along the coastline of South Australia and northeastern Tasmania. Northwest to southwesterly winds increasing up to 30 knots about Bass Strait and also the west coast, with swells peaking to 4 metres. A gale warning is in place for the upper east and lower east coast tomorrow. We also have a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters. And finally, a coastal hazard warning for abnormally high tides for the southeast and east coast. Showery across the south tomorrow, Hobart and Adventure Bay 15, 11 the top for Tarraleah. Showers are easing in the north, Launceston, Devonport and Bridport all 16. Showers likely to ease in Strawn, 16 also. Showers on the way in Strawn, 14, much the same in Marrawar, 15's the maximum. Those showers extending east, although likely to ease, St Helens, Swansea and Whitemark all 16 degrees. Forecast for Wednesday, showers about western, central and southern districts, contracting to the west and far south in the evening. Some inland frost followed by showers about the west and far south on Thursday, but fine elsewhere. And on Friday, showers about the west, fine elsewhere after another frosty start. We'll take a look further north now to see what's happening across the country. Perhaps Perth, the only sunny place to be tomorrow. 21 the forecast there. Showers easing in Adelaide, 18, 29 and partly cloudy in Brisbane. Hobart, partly cloudy right now, 11 degrees. Showery across Launceston and also Devonport. Kim, that's all from me tonight.
And that is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us tonight. For now, on behalf of the team, it is good night.